Hey, this is your boy Jan once again in this broadcast today. I'm excited to share some actual case studies from some fairly recent work, actually. I'm going to have several of these, but, one of the things that we sort of have gotten known for at the agency in this space of advertising and creating content that drives engagement and ultimately sales is events. Events is huge, workshops, seminars, online and off, clearly. What I'm going to talk about today, though, is a Facebook and a little bit of Google ads also, but a Facebook ads campaign that collectively we join these together with probably a 90% spend on Facebook, the remainder on Google, 5,000 in, a little bit over actually, and we generated about 93, a little over that in revenue as well. Very, very exciting, and also in a short period of time. This was 7 weeks. Yes, 7 weeks. So pretty quick ramp up. And in the event business, as you know, depending on if you have 4 or 5 people in a couple of day workshop at your local hotel, that's one thing. Or 30,000 as Grant Cardone did recently, or thereabouts. Completely, significantly different models in terms of how you ramp up for that. Right now, the idea of an event, a workshop, seminar, as I said, is profound, especially in the consulting, training, teaching, coaching business. Really, as of course, corporate America is built on these, but I'm really primarily talking about, small to medium-sized businesses who want to ramp up their event marketing. And we did this for this client in San Diego. And I just want to share with you some of the top tips from that strategy and from that campaign. And you can go to highticketeventmarketing.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see the URL pasted on the screen there. And if you're coming in through the podcast, Media and Marketing with Jan Rognerud, that's me. Well, then go to highticketeventmarketing.com and you'll actually get a breakdown of that case study in much more detail, include some other details on that page, which I'll show you here in a second if you're visually engaged today. But I'm excited to share this. I didn't really prepare for this today. I'm just elated to bring this to you because the power of the right message to the right target audience at the right time. You've heard this before, right? Dan Kennedy popularized that triangle of message media market or message market media, right? So, who are you presenting it to? So the market, we'll start with that. That is your key sort of number one step. If you heard a couple of podcasts ago, I had the 100 Million Man on the podcast, where one of the biggest things that he talks about, Lucas Reshesky, in that case, was know your target audience, but know it to a pinpoint of a drop of knowledge in terms of, getting close to that audience. And then, of course, the message, presenting that message that resonates. And we know that there's a customer journey throughout here. Think with Google released a study that talks about, I think in this case that they had of a buyer purchasing an automobile, there was some 900 touch points. We've heard about the rule of 7, then it moved to 9, 10, 12. Now the average is, 15 to 20 plus. There's a lot of touch points in the fast-paced world of the internet and devices on the go or not, right? All of these things matter in terms of how you present it throughout the customer journey. Now, in this case, we were somewhat fortunate in that we had a large buyer list already established through email. So CRM, right? Customer relationship management. And so what we did as step one here, I'll share this here more detail with you in a second, but we basically set out to develop a strategy that really leverage their existing engaged audience, right? So we knew that if we could upload and match that list both to Facebook and Google, we started with Facebook and get that uploaded, we'll have a very warm/hot audience to present marketing messages to, right? So if we threw up a video or if we threw up an image, and again, that's the technical term, throw up an image. man, then we would know that's going to reach an audience that is interested in that topic or that message, right? So, in fact, what we did is we combined videos and images both to this particular event. And we had 7 weeks to do it, so it was a fast ramp up. They had a little bit of creatives done. We came and matched that up with a lot of new ideas for how we could message them, clearly pulling images and creatives from prior events that they had really worked, just pure old images. We know videos are hot on Facebook and really in sort of the rich media world, but in this case, we started out with images. We started to see sales. We got a very low CPA. That's cost per acquisition, cost per lead, depending on the business that you're in. The idea is that anything that somebody buys from a click from the top of the funnel to actually an ROI in the back end needs to have needs to be lower at the front end and higher at the back end, right? So CPA less than your AOV, which is your average order value. And we're talking math here, and it's simple math, third grade math, but it needs to be established. And that's one of the things we did. We threw up those images, we ran some tests, but we'd already done really an analysis of what do we think this is going to mean based on numbers, right? And we had some data from them already. They hadn't actually run any Facebook before, very little Google, so we started from scratch, but we knew that we had that hot list. So if you have a CRM email list available, there's going to be subscribers in there, but there's also going to be buyers if you can segment that. And at least 1,000 is what we recommend out the gate. Then you can use that list to essentially create messaging to target that audience. What you can also do, and we did this later on, is create a 1% lookalike from that audience. So that's a whole set of new audiences or an audience or a segment of that audience based on the initial seed data, right? So very, very cool, high-tech stuff. Facebook and Google do this both. And the ability to create these match lists, that's what I called, and target them with messages is profound, guys and gals. So if there's anything you want to start with in terms of like building your own workshop or event, then use those lists. Now, what's interesting is we also expanded that to use people who had engaged with prior videos. So they had a bunch of videos up on their pages already. Well, we took a collection of, I think, around 50 videos or so, and we did a match type of 50% watched or more, right? So anybody had watched 50% or more, we wanted to create an audience from that. We created a 1% from that as well. And that really worked, and we used videos on that because of the sort of the origin of that source. So that worked really great. And when I say really great, we were sort of unexpectedly expecting, this is great English, guys and gals. We were really not expecting much from that, but it actually did really well. It pulled in great. As I said, 5,000 or so in, 93,000 in revenue, high-ticket-event-marketing.com. Just go there and get that case study in great detail. And I actually share exactly how we did that there. And actually, if you reach out to me, you can go to chaosmap.com/book me. Then you'll actually get the creatives that we used as well. So I believe that link, yes, that link is also available on high-ticket-event-marketing.com. So just go there, guys and gals, and you'll see the case study. And then if you'd like to talk further about, what we did in more detail, then just click the button there and you get a calendar, and we'll jump on for about 15-20 minutes. And of course, in full disclosure, as always, if there is a way that we can help you and it makes sense to work together, happy to jump on that call as well. So anyway, let's go forward here. So as we built out that CRM list, 1% lookalikes, as I said, we also then expanded to look at website traffic, right? Another audience builder for Facebook that's really powerful. I think we pulled the last 180 days on that. I think that's actually the max. And from that, we actually now created a bunch of visitors, or an audience from visitors that had come to that site over a particular time. We consider that semi-warm, right? Lukewarm. Depends here, because clearly there's levels of engagement. You can see this in Google Analytics, by the way. There's something called the bounce rate. And that's the ability to go in there and take a look and see, hey, out of my, 1,000 visitors a day or whatever that number is for you, what pages do they go to? What's the navigational paths, etc.? I mean, it's always interesting because that can match up to content that you could provide. But actually going in there and taking a look, what's my overall bounce rate and what is my specific bounce rates? You can get actually ideas for content you should write just looking at data, which of course is a huge, I'm a huge advocate for that. Math and psychology is really what we're talking about in everything that we do. How does the math match up, right? How does your psychology, your communication match up? And that goes way beyond just a brand message, right? We are great, come see us. That's a low ball message, which everybody sort of tends to put out there. Get way more specific and target that audience with the right message at the right time with the right medium. And also think about this. Facebook is so powerful. There are some channels we didn't test, right? This is a hybrid organization that belongs sort of in the little bit of the B2C, but actually a little more B2B. So it's a hybrid. Well, we didn't test LinkedIn. They also have a lot of great educational videos. We don't think Pinterest necessarily would have pulled here, but clearly there's opportunity to test these things. And from what I just said earlier with the Think with Google study of the 900 touch points, where are you in the customer journey? Where are you presenting that message, and when are you doing it? So clearly in marketing today in 2019, there's a lot of complexity, a lot of opportunity, a lot of shiny objects to try to get into the widgets that we try and sort of get excited about in forums and chit chat about. It's really about building a solid strategy and understanding your audience so that you can build a message to target those and to share with those people. And keep in mind, as I said, the customer journey is always there to guide you, right? So when you're putting out a message or a piece of content, always ask why. What's the next step in this journey at that moment, right? So if you're top of the funnel and maybe you're driving simply some cold traffic, again, let's use Facebook ads as an example, right? Using pure interest-based targeting, cold traffic, what should you say at the top of the funnel and what should you say in the middle and the bottom, right? There's going to be changes to that messaging. So, at the top, there's going to be a way more education going on because you're basically building the know, like, and trust. I've talked about this in other broadcasts. You've heard it before. But, the hard sell is just old school. This is not what you do anymore. It's not knocking on doors, walking around in the neighborhood and selling stuff. And some may like that. So it may work for some. It's not what we advocate. It's not what I talk about. In fact, in the high ticket event marketing that you see there, that URL, I talk about this and how we broke it down into steps and different media, different sources as well, both Google and Facebook, as I mentioned. But clearly, setting this up so that your messaging matches that audience is something I'm just going to keep harping on. So if you're coming in on the broadcast today on the podcast, Media and Marketing, then thank you for listening. Visit High Ticket Event Marketing. Yes, I put that up there. I just wanted to make sure. And watch the case study of how we brought in $93,000 in revenue based on a little over $5,000 ad spend on Facebook and Google. And this is uniquely for event marketing, basically workshops, seminars, et cetera, et cetera. So, what we also did, though, is we made sure to sort of, as we're talking about that customer journey, we also made sure to have a strong CRM back end, right? So for the people who were opting in, they were perhaps interested in the event, etc. What did we do with the back end? Well, we had an email marketing follow-up system that allowed us to share more information about the event, what they would get from it by attending, etc., etc. We had some small giveaways in there to entice them to come. And of course, you always want to do the early bird situation, right? So, sign up today and get $100 off before X date, right? So the countdown urgency bit is important as always in event marketing. At highticketeventmarketing.com, you'll see the case study. Interestingly enough, we also did another event that was last year for a big celebrity, and we sold almost 9,000 tickets from that. The ad spend was actually less because the organic presence was so big. So really, each case is different. You may be an established business but don't have a lot of traction on social media yet. You're thinking about building events or workshops, whether it's 5-10 people over a weekend, or 200 to 300 to several thousand in more of an auditorium setting. Well, that's fine. These principles still apply, but the strategies out the gate, those need to be built. And we can help you build those, but I'd like you to take a look first at highticketeventmarketing.com and see how we think about this, and see how you actually find value in this to perhaps apply this to yourself. We're happy to help, but at the same time, we believe that an educated client is a good one, right? We want you to ask the right questions. We want you to be educated in this. And you may be talking to other folks out there too who are doing these types of things. Well, what should you be asking? What are some of the strategies? Well, I share all of that in our highticketeventmarketing.com case study. So I just wanted to share this with you today. A lot more detail there, as I said, but I'm just having a lot of fun here. Got myself a new setup here today with some new software, some new lighting, and we're just expanding out these videos. Had some great interviews last week with some top experts in the field, and this goes out to YouTube. It goes out to the podcast as you're listening on iTunes, on Stitcher, on Google Play, Overcast, etc. It's a great way to distribute your information, but this is a separate discussion and a separate point. But I'm excited for all the things that you can do in your business with a little bit of help, and I'm glad that we're here to do it for you. So if you'd like to know more about this, just go out to High Ticket Event Marketing, and then you'll see it there. In fact, I just wanted to show you this real quick. This is actually a landing page that we use in some of our ads. We get a lot of referrals, actually, so we don't do this too much, but you can see it out here. This particular landing page talks about the case study here and how we filled that event, has some customer testimonials here. We talk about both Facebook and Google, as I said, for webinars and events and really just trying to help you with event marketing. That's what we're trying to do. And once you click on that button, it'll take you to a calendar. And so that's basically it, guys and gals. And just wanted to share this with you today, because not only is this a great case study, but it's something that you can start to think about yourself, because I share everything inside that video at highticketeventmarketing.com. And other than that, I hope you're having a great day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next broadcast. See ya. Bye. All right, so this is clearly not working. Yes, it is. See, being live is a scary thing. I'm signing off. Later.